gonna try to attempt to draw this thing real quick. All right, we got some of this going on here. Something like this, goes up like that. Okay, that's C-wire, sure. We got a radio tower, like right here. We got a house. And we got a mortar. Okay. All right, performing a raid, 7-16. All right, so the patrol initiates the raid no later than the time specified in the order to surprise the enemy, assaults the objective, and accomplish its assigned mission with the commander's within the commander's intent. The patrol does not become decisively engaged en route to the objective. The patrol obtains all available PIR from the raid objective and continues follow-on operations. Okay, so a raid is a form of attack using small scale involving swift entry into hostile territory to secure information, confuse the enemy, or destroy installations, followed by a planned withdrawal. So that first line, I would highlight that in your Ranger Handbook, put a little asterisk next to it, because that might be on something in the near future, but that is like the definition of a raid, okay? This is the bread and butter of the Ranger Regiment, so any future Ranger officers in this crowd, this is what they do, okay? So we talked about a planned withdrawal, okay? So in ambush, we don't necessarily have a planned withdrawal, but we teach a planned withdrawal. Why do you think it's important, or why do you think there's a difference between having a planned withdrawal for a raid and not a planned withdrawal for an ambush? Can anybody answer that? Like, because technically we do a red, white, blue for an ambush, but it's not in doctrine. And doctrine says you must have a planned withdrawal for a raid. So does anybody know why? What's up?
Just take a guess, but like if we're on an ambush, we can be there for a long time, so we don't know what the surrounding area looks like behind us maybe. But compared to a raid, we're going up to that specific area, so we're gonna have a better idea or clue of what's going on around the area.
Okay. So who remembers what I said about the differences between a raid and an ambush? What do we control and what does the enemy control? In an ambush, we control the what? We pick the place and they pick the time. In a raid, flip that. Okay, we pick the time, they pick the place. So I'm going to use time as the example. So when we're planning a raid, all right, when we're planning to conduct this raid, we are choosing the time. Okay. So when you think about why that's important, is this objective might be 50 kilometers away from your guys' outstation overseas. It's going to take aircraft. You guys are going to need to fly in helicopters. You guys may land 5 kilometers out to the west and have to walk. You hit the objective, then we still have to coordinate that aircraft to go get refueled and come back and pick you up. So the planned withdrawal is all based off of time. It's also based off of the enemy in the area. Okay, so if we are conducting this raid to target an individual, if we're targeting resources for this scenario, we have a mortar fire point, we have a radio tower, so we have some key logistical things here that we are trying to destroy, okay, or seize or capture. There might be some prisoners in there that we need to capture. So when we talk about a planned withdrawal, it has to do with how much time we're going to be on the objective and how much time we're going to need to get that aircraft spun up and come back, okay? All right, let's see. Squads do not conduct raids, okay? Can we conduct squad ambushes?
Yes.
Yes, we can, but we cannot conduct squad raids. The sequence of platoon actions for a raid are similar to those of an ambush. Additionally, the assault element from the platoon may have to conduct a breach of an obstacle. There's another difference, so I might highlight that or underline that in your Ranger handbooks, okay? So an ambush, it's either, we just did our quiz, right? So what are the different types of ambushes? Hasty or deliberate. What are the different formations? Okay, and what are their different categories?
point area.
Right, okay, so with a raid, we are not necessarily ambushing an area. We are not targeting a single convoy or one truck of a convoy, right? This is a larger scale operation, which is why we cannot do these at the squad level. And two, you might have to breach. In ambushes, you don't have to breach anything, okay? Demolition, the demo team has to be prepared to destroy whatever equipment we find on the objective, but with the raid, we have to be prepared to conduct a breach in this obstacle. Clearly we have C-wire around this. Does it make sense to assault this objective right here, right down the road? Why not? Choke point, right? Okay. All right, so we covered that we may need to conduct a breach, okay? It may be an additional task to perform on the objective, such as demolition or demolition of fixed facilities. The fundamentals of a raid include, okay, all four of these are important. Surprise and speed, okay? Infiltrate and surprise the enemy without being detected. Coordinated fires. Seal off the objective with well-synchronized direct and indirect fires. Violence of action. Overwhelm the enemy with fire and maneuver. Plan withdrawal. Withdraw from the objective in an organized manner, maintaining security. Okay, so time and security. All right, which is why we have that red, white, and blue plan, which is why when we say gun 1 goes from tripod to bipod, gun 2 goes from tripod to bipod, before you guys fall off that objective, is because while we are withdrawing off the objective, we still have some security on that objective with our support by fire. So that's the organized manner that we're talking about. Actions on the objective, raid, see figure 7.5 on page 7-18, which is what I kind of drew up here. Okay? So this is where we're going to kind of get into our class. All right, so we are going to move from our security halt. From our security halt, where do we need to go? To your ORP. Does anybody remember how many people go on the leader's reconnaissance? That was a bad triangle. Did I draw this right?
Yes.
Okay, who remembers who goes on the leader's reconnaissance of the ORP? Go ahead.
Security squad, PL, RTO, and then all squad leaders. Or I apologize, not all squad leaders. Yeah, no, all squad leaders.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All the squad leaders go on the leader's reconnaissance of the ORP?
Yep.
It is optional.
PL gets
But what have we been teaching you guys?
Just what the squad leaders.
What's it say, Garo?
The PL, squad leaders, and selected personnel conduct leaders for reconnaissance.
Of what? The objective or the ORP?
It does not go on to say it, so.
Of the objective, yes. You take all your squad leaders on the leader's reconnaissance of your objective, but not the ORP. But
I have PL, RTO, weapon squad leader, 2 AB, assault 2 AR, and then a team leader, rifleman, and AR from security squad.
yep, that is correct. Okay, so we don't need to take all of our squad leaders because we're just going to basically occupy our ORP. So we need our ABs with us. Remember, we've gone over this a couple times. All right, so just for food for thought for you guys, just review this stuff so you guys don't look like a bunch of knuckleheads when you guys go out there at lab. Okay? So we go out there, we do our leaders reconnaissance, right? We have our party, we get online, right? You guys remember doing this on the turf? Squad leaders kind of in the center, got your ABs on the side. You guys walk out, PL and weapon squad leader, flip-flop, check your guys' apexes. Yeah, we're good. Come back, good to go. All right, we don't have the 90-degree dog leg because it's not a patrol base. All right, so we just leave our weapons squad leader there. We leave our 6 o'clock apex there. We go back to our security hall, pick everybody up, and we occupy the ORP. All right, so from the ORP, who goes on the leader's reconnaissance of the objective? You guys speak up. Talk to your class.
PL, RTO, 4 squad leaders, and all security squad.
There we go. Okay. So how many people is that? 15? All 15 of those people are going to go on this leader's reconnaissance. Okay. So when we talk about what I said, the PL initiates the raid no later than specified time, right? So this is when you guys are doing your planning. Your hit time is your hit time. There is no like, hey, we need to push this left, hey, we need to push this right. Like if you have a 2200, we are going to initiate the raid. That is your hard time. Okay, so when you guys are in your planning phase and you guys are coming up with, okay, this is what commander's intent is. This is our timeline. This is the specified timeline that we are given. You guys have to do everything in your ability, everything in your power to make sure you afford your platoon to do rehearsals, and you guys plan how far your movement's going to take. When you guys are given your 5-point contingency plans, they need to be accurate because all that time matters. Okay, so why do you think you have to hit your head, or why is it important to meet your specified time in your order?
You know, like a planned withdrawal with certain time hacks. If your helicopters are coming in at 1500, but you're late by 20 minutes, that
Yeah.
makes you feel.
It's the same exact reason why time is money over there. Okay, so if you have a 2200 hit time, you have to think about all your different assets that are supporting this operation. Who is your QRF? Where are they at in the battlefield? How long is the response time if you guys need to call in QRF? Maybe you guys get a Predator, you have an asset orbiting overhead, and they are allocated to you from 21:30 all the way up to mission complete, or 21:30 all the way up to midnight. So you have them for a certain period of time, so that time is precious, it's valuable. So you have to make sure you guys hit your time hacks. Okay? All right, so we're in our ORP. We're going out on the leader's reconnaissance. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is very, very, very similar to an ambush. Okay, so when the PL, or when the leader's reconnaissance party departs the ORP, where are they going? What's their next step after they leave their ORP for this leader's reconnaissance? They need to establish their release point. Okay. Release point. Hey, we got it. We made it. Okay, so at the release point, what's going to happen? They're going to conduct a SEAL assault. What else? They're going to maintain some type of security, right? They're going to radio the platoon sergeant, right? Maintaining good communications with everyone that's on the leader's reconnaissance and everyone that's on at the ORP. Okay, so they're at the ORP. What happens next?
PL goes and sets an SNO.
The PL goes and sets an SNO. Okay, so this is where it could kind of get a little confusing with who is a part of the SNO team for an ambush and who is a part of an SNO team for a raid. Okay, so the way that we taught you guys is for an ambush, the SNO team comes from where? Security. Your security squad, right? Because you want to afford as many people available for that ambush. Okay, where do you think, or what do you think your SNO team is going to be comprised for a raid? Where do you think they should come from? Okay, support. What else? Okay, so using page 7-18 as an example, where do you see security on here? So top left, top right? Okay, so again, this is gonna be up to you guys as the PLs, but for a raid, it might be a good idea to use Assault 2 for your SNO team. Because once they're done, the SNO team has completed their portion of that mission, they can get reabsorbed back into that assault line. You could technically do the same thing for an ambush, just reabsorb them back into the ambush, but I taught you guys to use security. Bottom line, it doesn't really matter where you pull them from, but if you look at the objective and you look at the terrain, intersections around, maybe those security positions need to be a full fire team. Okay, so that's why, and that, if that were the case, then maybe you pull from Assault 2 to use your S&O team. Okay, so for this scenario, go ahead.
Would that mean that you'd have 17 people on the leaders recon? Or would you swap 2 people to make it 15?
No, you would take an additional 2.
Okay.
Yeah, if you went with using Assault 2 for your S&O team. It would just be adding 2 more people to your leaders recon.
So, does it really just depend on the environment, and if you have really good support by fire lanes on one side, and that's where your RP is, then it's really just meant to see.
Yes,
Okay.
essentially, yeah. Okay, so we are going to say that we are going to use Assault 2 for the S&O team. It's going to consist of the Saw Gunner and Grenadier. The PL will move up to the from the release point with himself, his RTO, his M320, and his 249 from Assault 2, and they're going to go and place them in the S&O team. All right, so how we break down these squads for a raid is you have Assault 1, Assault 2, support, and security, okay? Assault 1 is gonna be your DO. Assault 2 is gonna be your shaping operation 1. Support's gonna be shaping operation 2. And security is gonna be shaping operation 3. Okay, so that's how you kind of task your squads and their tactical mission tasks for this raid. The key things that you guys need to have for your S&O team, okay, they need to have a pen and paper, or a pen, paper, or notepad, because they're going to be tasked with drawing a sketch. Okay, why do you think we want them to draw a sketch of the objective once they get eyes on? Go ahead.
We want to know exactly what we're getting into.
Okay, pretty much, right? So remember how I said like 99% of the missions that I've gone on have never really gone to plan because the enemy has a boat, right? They're people just like us. They move around all across the objective, regardless if you have ISR platform overhead looking at all this stuff and you're looking at it on your cool high-speed tablet and you're just watching everything. You guys don't get that luxury of having that. So having, you know, a cadet out there or a soldier out there with pen and paper and drawing, hey, I can see this building and I can see people moving to this radio tower and coming back. I can see them go over here to this mortar firing point and you know, mess around with that mortar tube or whatever. Okay, so let's just say there's another building here, right? We're going after an individual. Our objective is to kill or capture Cadet Matarelli. Okay, he's a Taliban leader in this area. He's responsible for high-profile attacks, and he lives in Building 1. That is what our intelligence has given us. That is what is driving this objective. That is our commander's intent. We are supposed to conduct a raid to destroy this encampment and to kill or capture Cadet Matarelli. All right, so if we are planning this mission in our primary building's #1, because we know that's where he's supposed to be at, but we have cadets at S&O drawing the sketch. You know, he's supposed to be wearing an orange jumpsuit, and we see an orange jumpsuit out there. Right? That means our intelligence is good, but the orange jumpsuit is now moving to Building 2. Okay, and I'll get into that here in a second. All right, so S&O team, they go out. The PL gives them a 5-point contingency plan, gives them their compromise plan, their engagement criteria, disengagement criteria, and tells them to draw a sketch of the objective area. You will also go back to that S&O team once your leader's reconnaissance is done to pick up that sketch to potentially change your plan if you need to. You have a question?
Two real quick.
Yep.
Leave them off the radio, and then what's the compromise plan?
If they, same thing, engagement, disengagement criteria. If they get compromised, it's the 5-point contingency plan. Sorry.
What's DO?
Decisive operation. So decisive operation means this squad is the decisive operation, meaning our decisive operation for this objective is to clear building 1. That is our DO. If we do not clear building 1, then we have failed our mission. But that squad is tasked with clearing building 1, therefore they are decisive operation. All these other squads, they're just shaping us getting to that objective or to that end state. Okay, they go out. S&O team, right here. Eyes on the objective. Pen and paper. I want you to draw me the objective. This is your left limit. This is your right limit. Engagement criteria, disengagement criteria. Good to go. Radio check. Moves on back to the RP. Okay. All right. So we got security to move. Security squad. Okay. So we remember from last week or 2 weeks ago about centralized and decentralized. Correct. All right. So again, a raid. We are not detected. The enemy does not know we are there. Okay. So do you think it would be a good idea for the PL to walk one side in, come back, and walk the other side in to come back, trying to meet our time hack? It's probably not realistic, okay? I like using a roving release point, meaning we are in the formation of order of movement. Once we move from the security halt, and we're done with our leaders recon, by the way, but once the first squad, once support by fire gets to the release point, they just call up on the radio, hey, we're at RP, moving to support by fire, and they just go. The next squad gets to the RP, they hit it, and they go. Here in Cadet Command, probably not a good idea, but that is what you guys should be training for, is getting to that step of, you know, yep, we got here, okay, move. Got here, move. Okay, so we come back, now we gotta go set security in. We're gonna use the decentralized method, all right? So PL says, hey, security, left side, right side, this is your grid, confirm it, we've already talked about it, you guys know your grid, you guys know your distance, you guys know your direction, don't get detected, here's your 5-point, here's your engagement criteria, here's your disengagement criteria, radio check, and then they go, okay? So what's kind of difficult with this is you got a security position way over here, and you got one way over here, right? So whoever's on that far right has a pretty long ways to go. Okay, pretty long ways to go. What you guys could potentially do is just kind of offset your RP a little bit further back. So when you guys hit that RP, they have less distance to travel, or you can just send them when you guys go out and then place your S&O team, because they have a little bit more distance to walk. But besides the point, security teams, they go out, they set in, security set. Okay, so who's left? Who is left on this leader's reconnaissance?
Squad leaders in the PL.
All the squad leaders in the PL. Okay, so which one do we want to, or what's the position that we should recon next? Your support by fire. Okay? All right, so maybe there's a awesome piece of terrain here that's going to be our support by fire. All right? So the PL and all the squad leaders and his RTO is going to move over here, and they're going to get eyes on, get on top of that high piece of terrain. We're going to recon that support by fire, right? We have 2 machine guns, so we'll put 1 gun here, and we'll put 1 gun here. All right? So after the PL goes up there and talks with his weapons squad leader, this is where I want to place gun 1, this is where I want to place gun 2. Weapons squad leader confirms that. We're going to look for TRPs. Well, maybe this radio tower is TRP 1, maybe this building's 2, the mortar's 3, and this is 4. Those are good TRPs. All right, so what is kind of crappy about our security positions right now?
The line of fire?
Right. So I know I'm kind of drawing this at an angle from what's depicted in your book. So let's just kind of forget that they're up where I drew them and just kind of go off of what's in your book, okay? All right, so after the weapons squad leader and the PL do the leader's reconnaissance, should probably get the other three squad leaders up there to look at this. They look at it, they confirm it, hey, these are your shift PowerPoints, or these are the TRPs, that matches up with our plan. Awesome, now let's go recon the assault line. Okay, so your assault line, we'll just say it's gonna be over here. I drew that wrong. This is gonna be your assault line. Okay, so you have assault 1 and assault 2. So in theory, you'll have assault 1 or 2, assault 1, kind of generally online. What's up?
So right now, pretty much all of security squad is set in as the left and right security leaders. Is the security squad leader just still hanging with the PL and looking at the lines?
Yeah, so good question. All right, so in ambush, where is the security squad leader at?
For the SNL.
He's with the SNO, right? But being that this is probably something a little bit more, where we need a little bit more eyes outside, the security squad leader is going to be either at the left side or the right side. Okay? Okay, so that's done. In your order, when you guys are planning this objective, all right, with Assault 1 and Assault 2, it'd be a good idea to kind of split the objective in half, meaning Assault 1 is going to be responsible for one half, and Assault 2 is going to be responsible for the other half. You guys can break it up this way, doesn't really matter, but in your plan, just know Assault 1 is going to have responsibilities of half of the objective, in theory. Okay, so reconnaissance of the assault line is complete. Then on their way back, or before they go back, they have to stop off at SNO and pick up that sketch. Okay, so it's kind of real-time updates. The SNO team is gonna say, hey, guy in the orange jumpsuit moved from building 1 to building 2 at 1750. All right, it's like a log at 1802, orange jumpsuit moved from building 2 back to building 1, okay? So after the PL picks up that the sketch, it's going to go ahead and move back to the ORP, call up the platoon sergeant, and kind of finalize their plan from there. Okay, so that's why it's important to have that sketch. All right, so once the platoon either confirms their plan or they need to change the plan, they'll go ahead and start or get a rucksack plan already established. It should have been established before you guys left, but for everybody else in the platoon, rug plan is established, and if we need to leave any ORP security back of the ORP. So if we need that, that would have come from security squad. Usually a team leader and a rifleman would stay back in the objective. Okay? All right, so everything from here is fairly similar to an ambush. And now we need to just go ahead and move out and set in our support by fire. So support by fire is going to set in first. So order of movement out of the ORP is going to be Assault 1 with their weapons attached, and then Assault 2 with their weapons attached as well. So no change to order of movement. Once you hit that release point, that is when weapons squad will kind of break away from their assault squads and move up to the 12 o'clock and get it ready to get counted out so they can go ahead and set in their support by fire. All right, so from the RP, the weapons squad leader and the weapons squad, which is support, the PL will say, hey, you guys are good to go, and they'll move out to occupy their support by fire. Somebody talk me through how we occupy a support by fire. Go ahead.
While gun 1 is getting set up from bipod to tripod, gun 2 is just on bipod pulling security, and then once gun 1 is on tripod, weapon squad leader gives them their like TRPs and all of those after the fire, and then once gun 1 is set, then gun 2 is set, and the weapon squad leader
Kind of. Okay. Anybody want to help her out? Go ahead.
You want us to slowly move up gun 1 on bipod to maintain security, and then once gun 1's up, move up gun 2. Gun 1 transitions to bipod, or from bipod to tripod, and then gun 2.
Right, okay. So, when you guys are moving to your support by fire, if you're a weapons squad leader, right? So we have our PLD back here, correct? So once you reach that PLD, that's when everyone kind of hunkers down, takes a knee, gets in the prone if they have to, right? So I have my gun team over here and a gun team over here. So gun 1 is gonna go ahead and start crawling up, gets eyes on the objective on top of this military crest, and they're on bipod, right? So their weapons squad leader, gun 1, gunner, and the team leader are up in their position, and the weapons squad leader is saying, hey, gun 1, this is your left limit. This is your right limit, right? So technically, he's shooting at the radio tower and building 1. This is your primary sector of fire, okay? When we shift fire, you're going to shift fire to your next sector of fire, which is going to be the mortar all the way to building number 2. Okay, so your primary sector fire, when we shift fire, this is your secondary shift of fire, or field of fire. I want you to traverse and search everything within your sector of fire. Do you understand? Roger that. Weapons squad leader gets gun 2. They should already be prepping that gun on tripod. That they go ahead and bring that gun up on tripod, and the weapons squad leader says the same thing to that gun team. This is your primary sector of fire. This is your secondary sector of fire, whatever, okay? Traverse and search everything within your sector of fire. This is where we shift fire when we shift fire. Make sense? Is anybody confused on that? I know that's kind of drawn all weird up there, but each gun position has a primary sector of fire. When they shift fire, they have a new sector of fire, okay? All right, so once gun 2 is up there, they got briefed everything, then gun 1 will transition to tripod. When gun 1 is on tripod, then the weapons squad leader calls the PL and says, hey, support by fire is established at this time. Okay, so support by fire is set. Who moves out next from the RP? Assault 1 and 2. All right, assault 1 and 2. Roger that. Good job. I'm just gonna erase all this stuff because it's kind of confusing. Building 1, building 2, mortar, radio tower. Okay, so remember how you guys want to divide this in half. Okay, so if this were me, I would basically just divide this in half like this, and have assault 1 take buildings 1 and 2, and have assault 2 takes the radio tower and the mortar firing point. Yes.
So initially, when the non-numbers were gone, you only set in security, and then you go back, pick everybody up, and then you set in your support?
Correct. Yeah, so security has to be established before you do anything on the objective, minus in placing the S&O team.
So if you split the responsibility between the 2 squads, and say Assault 1 clears the radio tower faster than Assault 2 can clear the house, then would they wait for Assault 2 to finish clearing the house and stay online and then move, or would Assault 1 just keep moving through?
So I would probably have them hold, because you got to think. I mean, we're not talking like doctorate level shit here. It's just kind of an easy plan is probably the best plan. You don't necessarily want to overcomplicate things. I know they can probably clear this shit really quick, but once you start moving into somebody's sectors of fire, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to kind of leapfrog everything. It can be done. It's been done, and like I've done it. It can get a little confusing, and I'll get to that here in a second. Okay. All right, so we kind of divided the objective in half. How are we gonna get in here? Cut? Okay. Pull out your scissors and start cutting. Seriously, how are we gonna get in here?
C4?
C4, the demo team. What should all squads be able to do? Conduct a breach of an obstacle, right? So, your assault 1 is the decisive operation. Assault 2 is shaping operation 1. So, assault 2 is probably going to be the one blowing this breach open to shape the decisive operation to get in here. Okay? Alright, so how that is going to look is once we are maneuvering over here, we have our assault squads online, PL and platoon starter over there. Alright, you gotta go over breaching. Okay, so the fundamentals of breaching. Who knows what that stands for? And the characteristics of offense. Scat. You guys know what that is?
Super cool, awesome.
Super cool, awesome team. What's up?
Surprise?
Are you sure it's surprise?
Yes. Yes.
Are
Surprise.
you sure?
It's not.
I
can tell by. He's surprised.
How do you spell surprise?
RP.
That's surprise.
Surprise? Okay. C.
I can't think about it, I'm gonna go back to that one.
Concentration.
Concentration, audacity, and tempo.
There you go.
Surprise. Scat.
Yeah, you said it wasn't surprise.
I was just checking you, all right? Surprise. Ha, surprise. Concentration. What's concentration? Concentration of fires. What does that mean?
How much you shoot at them?
How much? All right. Audacity. What is it to be audacious?
The bold.
Bold, right? A bold plan. Tempo. What's tempo?
Violence of action?
Speed, surprise, yeah. How well you guys are kind of moving across the objective. So that's the characteristics of the offense. All right. Sosra. Suppress, suppression. Obscuration. Obscure. Suppress, obscure. Secure. Listen, you guys are in college, not me, all right? Reduce and assault. Yeah, you guys can laugh. Obscure, how about that? I can write obscure. Suppress, obscure, secure, reduce, assault. Okay, so those are the fundamentals of breaching. Okay, so how you are going to tackle this is by using the fundamentals or the characteristics of the offense and the fundamentals of breaching. Okay, so if you have a mortar team attached to you, if you have a Gustav team attached to you, all right, what's that?
What's Gustav team?
It is an M3 Carl Gustav. It's an 84 millimeter recoilless rifle, shoulder fire weapon that shoots a whole bunch of fun stuff. Okay, they have smoke rounds. It's like a big AT4 that you can just put more ammo through. Okay. Usually, Ranger Regiment, you'll have a 60 team and a Gustav team. You guys can probably have Gustavs in the regular army too. We have AT4s, but most likely you'll have a 60 millimeter mortar team that can lob smoke. Okay. So once these guys are in their assault positions, they're LCC, and once the support by fire is set, you guys are good. All right. You guys are waiting for 2200 mission hit time. Okay. Even if you don't have any of those teams, you guys still have handheld smoke. Okay. So the way that it should look is 2200 hits the clock and the PL says, hey, initiate. All right. We have not been compromised yet. Everything looks good on the objective. We're ready to straight send it now. Okay. Weapon squad, support by fire. They start initiating on the objective. Bang, 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 bang. They're shooting everything inside their sectors of fire, just like they were told. Now the assault needs to start pushing, or assault 2 needs to start pushing to set this breach on this wire obstacle. Okay? If you did have a 60mm mortar, you tell them to shoot smoke. If you don't, your 320, your grenadiers, they might have smoke that they can shoot. Or if you have a badass Assault 2 squad leader that just wants to charge up there and throw a handheld smoke, they can do that as well. All right, so what we're trying to accomplish is we are suppressing the objective. We need to billow up some smoke somewhere so these guys can go up and secure the objective or secure the breach. We're gonna breach right through here, or maybe somewhere over here. Regardless, we need to get up there and secure that. We need to reduce it, meaning we need to set a charge, a Bangalore torpedo, cut it with bolt cutters, whatever the case may be, and then we need to assault the objective. So we got suppression, we have some smoke billowing, we're gonna go up there and secure, so Assault 2 is gonna pick up and push towards the objective. Usually it's a fire team that can do this. So one single fire team, so Alpha team from Assault 2 will go ahead and pick up with their squad leader who's gonna throw the smoke. And they are gonna push towards the objective. You're gonna have, or towards the sea wire. You're gonna have near security, so guy here, while the team leader and the rifleman are actually cutting, or if they have a torpedo, a Bangalore torpedo. Who's seen like Saving Private Ryan? They go up there and put the Bangalore, pop it, okay. You guys can have those as well. Regardless, they're gonna either set a charge on that thing or they're gonna cut it open. Whatever the case may be, they just secured this, now they need to reduce it. So for this instance, they're gonna go up there with bolt cutters, they're gonna start cutting away, okay? So they have just made entry, okay? So you still have guy pulling security, team leader and rifleman just finished the last cut. So that team leader is gonna take the sea wire, gonna grab it, and he's gonna bring it inwards. Okay, so kind of like a little door, he's gonna pull it and turn it inwards. This guy's gonna pull the sea wire and turn it inwards, so it goes that way. It's just easier to get through that if it's going that way, not coming towards you. Okay, so they have just reduced the obstacle. Now they need to assault. So that other fire team, Bravo team, they're gonna be abound behind them, right? So they're gonna be relatively close, but they're gonna be in the prone. Once they open the sea wire, that Bravo team is gonna pick up, and they're gonna immediately, 2 people here, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the whole squad has just been tasked with knocking out the sea wire, and that just opened up the floodgates for Assault 1, your DO, to go ahead and push to whatever they were tasked to hit. Okay, so Assault 1 would pick up and start pushing through. All right, so remember, we're getting pretty close to their sector of fire, so what do we have to do? We have to shift fire, right? So I think we briefed gun 2 is gonna shoot there, so gun 1's gonna need to shift fire, gun 2's okay. So gun 1 shifts fire, we get confirmation that we've shifted fire. We're good to go. Then Assault 1 go ahead and pick up and assaults this objective. Okay, and essentially all you're doing is if you have multiple buildings, you're literally just leapfrogging that squad. Okay, so Assault 1 will pick up, move in here. Assault 2, who made the breach, they're pulling security on the radio tower. Assault 1 will pick up, enter and clear. They'll knock out building 1 and provide security or overwatch on that mortar position, right? Assault 2 picks up, clears that. Now they have a handoff with Assault 1. These guys are locking this down. These guys can pick up and move, and you guys are just clearing all the way across the objective. What's up?
Is the PL and PSG with Assault like in
Yep,
ambush?
so PL will be with Assault 1, Platoon Sergeant will be with Assault 2. Usually the PL does not necessarily want to get into this fight, okay? It would be a good idea, or it might be a good TTP or SOP, is to have CPs, little command posts. So maybe the PL just stays outside of the breach so he doesn't get shot. Maybe the platoon sergeant will be up on the objective in case there's any casualties, okay? But the PL does not need to be leading this fight. Like, okay, hey, follow me. Let your squad leaders of your squads fight the fight, and you just report. All right, so we got all the way through the objective. We knocked out the radio tower, building 1, 2, mortar tower, or mortar firing points done, and we set up an LOA. What do we do at the LOA? full security,
Mag
mag changes, lace reports. Then we go through all of our special teams, just like you do in an ambush. And then you go into your withdrawal plan. Did we kill or capture the orange jumpsuit Cadet Monterelli? Yes? Awesome. If not, we failed. But yeah, everything else from there is just like the ambush. You get to your LOA special teams, complete your special teams, aid and litter, or EPW, aid and litter, demo, and then do your plan withdrawal. What happens on red? Assault 1, or Assault 1 picks up, comes off the objective, goes to the choke point, establishes security. Gun 1 transitions from tripod to bipod. Assault 2 on white picks up, goes to the choke point, establishes some type of security. Gun 2 goes from tripod to bipod. On blue, if you have anything you want to destroy, you'll pop that 5-minute time fuse or whatever minute time fuse you have on that demo charge. The PL and the elements pick up, move back to the RP. Support by fire breaks down, they link up with the RP, and then these guys. So usually for security, okay, security will leave once that demolition charge goes off. Okay, we need to have people on that objective until that demo charge goes off. Reconsolidate back to the RP, reorganize, go get your rucks at the ORP, and then move to exfil or move to your next patrol base for that day or night. Any questions on raid? Let's see, critical tasks. Secure and occupy ORP, leaders recon of the objective, pinpoint the objectives, determine enemy positions, establish surveillance, in place security, confirm the plan, in place support, in place assault. The PL initiates the raid, support lifts and shift fire, establish LOA security, consolidate, reorganize, reposition as necessary, search the objective, treat wounded, assault withdrawals, support withdrawals, security withdrawals, patrol reconsolidates. That was your class right there, we did it. We knocked it all out. The one thing that it says is search the objective. Okay, so we didn't really cover that. So typically you are going to search whatever buildings or whatever's on the objective. Whatever you were assigned to do, you guys are going to search. Whether it be searching the buildings, whether it be searching people that we've detained. It all depends on what we're targeting, right? If we're just going after to kill or capture one person, they obviously have some bad stuff here. If they have a mortar firing point, if they have a radio tower, they have CY around it. So obviously this is a key place for us to hit, which is why we're conducting the raid, right? So we're looking for anything, whatever PIR we are tasked to find, whether it be cell phones, whether it be laptops, maps, anything that would be willing to drive the next mission. Okay, so that's kind of how targeting works overseas, okay? We'll have, just kind of picture like the FBI's most wanted list, right? Yeah, so you got like bad guy number 1, bad guy number 2, bad guy number 3. This is their boss. These people work for this dude. These 2 people work for this dude. These 2 people work for that dude, and they're just like the list goes on, right? Everyone's kind of interconnected somehow, some way, right? So if this objective is this guy, and these guys are all linked, and we're trying to get to that guy, we're just trying to destroy this network. So in theory, whatever we find off this objective, whether it be him, her, it doesn't matter. They're all gonna drive us to that end state of trying to find that top person. Okay, so that's kind of how targeting overseas works. We'll go on objective Knucklehead to try to find Knucklehead's boss. Well, we got his cell phone, we pull up his cell phone, hey, here, we got this dude's number. Well, now we can start tracking him. Now we know where he's moving. Now we know where they're going to bed at night, and we can go get them in their sleep, okay? Totally dismissed that. So yeah, you're gonna search everything.
I think I missed Stanton said, how does the PL initiate the raid?
So the PL will initiate the raid with the support by fire. If you want to initiate this with a mortar round, if you want to initiate the raid with the guns that are laid on this target from some FA unit, like it doesn't really matter what you initiate the raid with. Typically, it's just going to be that support by fire. Yes.
If there was no obstacle, would you just like assault through?
So if there was no C-wire,
Yeah, like a camp and stuff, like I'm assuming there's not gonna be.
oh, there'll be C-wire there.
There will?
Oh, yeah.
Breaching through it too?
We're gonna blow it up?
Usually they just step on it, but yeah, or they get caught up in it and get all bloody because they don't look at the ground where they're walking. You'll have C-wire at camp. It's just gonna be single strand and normally you just step on it, but we still gotta plan for it.
So with our primary objective being to take out Monterelli, but there's communication relays, or do you also destroy those, or if it's not your primary objective, then it's not the commander's intent, you just leave it alone?
Yeah, so good question. Yeah, typically you don't want to mess with anything that doesn't really have anything to do with the objective. Okay, so personal experience when we operate in like the city of like Baghdad or something that's very built up and urban, right? And we have our targeted individual, like these are all houses, right? Maybe there's a road that goes through there. Maybe the house that we're targeting is right here, so we really don't need to fuck around with those houses, right? But everything in here, oh yeah, we're gonna destroy everything. Yeah, so kind of same thing for here. This is a bad example because it's obviously everything's bad in there because I have it protected with C-wire. And it's obviously an enemy location. I really don't think there's gonna be any women or children there. But yeah, you're right. What's up?
So for the withdrawal plan, how we've done it in the past is that on red, all assault takes off, and then white, or yeah, red, white, and then all.
No, so I think you guys got that messed up. So on red, assault 1 will pick up. On white, assault 2 will pick up, and then blue, support, and then when that charge goes off, the security should break off as well.
Okay, makes sense.
Nothing? Any other questions on raid? Okay, so not to get confused with ambush, because obviously you guys are gonna be doing ambush at lab. Do we need to do an ambush review?